There's been much debate over the years regarding Mihawk's title as the world's strongest swordsman. Now, I've personally taken issue with a lot of the opinions people have, and I also take issue with things that Oda has said. Um, More or less that Mihawk is the greatest swordsman in the world, and this idea that, well, of course he's stronger than Shanks and he's stronger than every other swordsman. But nobody considers the fact that there are swordsmen who Mihawk would have never come to blows with. For example, Garlic, Shamrock, any of the Holy Knights. The one member of the Gorosei who uses a katana. And honestly, Big Mom. If Mihawk had fought these individuals, don't you think Oda would have referenced it? I mean, why would he wait to reference that until later on in the story? Wouldn't he have done so when Big Mom was still around? I mean, sure, he could decide to do that later on, even in the next arc. But to me, that just wouldn't make any sense, because Big Mom is, for all intents and purposes, dead. Gone from the story. So why even bother at this point? And as for Garling and Shamrock, well, until somewhat recently, we didn't even know that they were a thing. For all we were aware, as far as we were concerned, they were just stationed in the Holy Land as its protectors. But that's an idea for another... That's a discussion for another video. So, who did Mihawk beat to gain his title? Now, my personal opinion, my personal view, is that he didn't beat anybody to get his title. This will outrage a lot of people, and they'll say, oh, it goes against everything that Oda says. But let's not forget, Oda's human. He makes mistakes. And a lot of writers say what they intended to be in their stories, but because of time or because they forgot, those things never made it in. And I, for one, do not consider literally everything an author says to be canon unless it was written into the story. If Oda was to say something 10 years from now about something being canon that was never in a story, I won't consider that to be canon. Something that was intended to be in the story, and then people start calling it canon. No, I'm sorry. You're no longer writing your story anymore. Why should it be considered canon? But again, I've gotten way off topic. So, I don't think Mihawk beat anybody to get his title. We know that the only opponent he had consistently was Shanks. When he went to visit Shanks about Luffy's bounty, if Mihawk had beaten Shanks and truly was the strongest swordsman in the world, why would he have any interest in fighting Shanks again? I mean, wouldn't he just want to keep going and going and going? Wouldn't he just want to travel the world and fight every swordsman? We don't even know if that's what he did. I think we take these titles way too literally. And that's not always the case in One Piece. The Pirate King is not a literal king of pirates. Yes, Whitebeard was regarded as the strongest man, but we don't know if that was actually true. And we need to remember who gives these titles. As far as we know, there's nobody who can just visualize everything that's going on in the entire world and give these titles based off of that. It's probably based off of rumor and based off of things that have been seen. That's why I don't think we should take the world's greatest swordsman title so literally, nor Whitebeard being the world's strongest man, because for all we know, one of the Gorosei could have been stronger than him, and may be stronger than him, and has been around all this time, even, prior to Whitebeard's passing, that was just much stronger than him. But because the Gorosei are regarded more so as gods and not men, they wouldn't be part of that list. And the vast majority of people don't even know they exist, or if they do know they exist, they don't know that they they don't know that they're more than just world leaders. They don't know that they're combatants in their own right. And the other thing about Mihawk is, getting once again back to Mihawk and Shanks. I personally believe he got the title because Shanks lost his arm. I know that's going to anger a lot of people, but I think it makes perfect sense. And people also need to not obsess over the title, because people act as though if the title was somehow discredited, that just automatically means that Mihawk is not the strongest swordsman or one of. He is guaranteed to be that. But when somebody has a title like the world's greatest, that's only in the eyes of the people. There's always a chance that there could be a swordsman that Mihawk never knew about, and therefore, because they never fought, the world wouldn't have known who the superior of the two is. So yeah, I believe the reason why Mihawk got his title is because Shanks lost his arm. I think they were neck and neck and were considered to be the two strongest swordsmen in the world at that time while they were dueling. And they never, neither of the two ever won one of their duels. Which, that's another thing, too. They're specifically stated to have been duels, not fights. That, to me, suggests that these might have been more like sparring matches than outright, fights where they just use everything they have. I could be mistaken, of course, but why wouldn't Oda just say sword fights? Why would he say duels, specifically? I mean, were the bouts between Garp and Roger and Whitebeard considered to be duels? Was the fight between Aka Inu and Kuzan considered to be a duel? No. They were just straight up fights. So that word had to have been used for a particular reason. Lastly, I've seen some people suggest that Mihawk is the greatest swordsman of all time. And I'm sorry, but if he is the greatest swordsman of all time, why didn't he just take Vista down in a single slash? You're not going to convince me that based on the feats we saw at Marineford, that Vista is even remotely close to challenging the likes of Roger or Rox or any of the other swordsmen that are no longer alive. So the fact that Mihawk was, you know, not taking Vista out as easily as he did Zoro pre-time skip, to me, proves that there's no way that Mihawk is the greatest of all time. It also doesn't matter because all those other characters are dead. Roger is no longer alive. Rox is no longer alive. So yeah, those are my thoughts. If there's anything you think I missed, please say so in the comments. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. And I will see you all. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.